Hey there, and welcome back to Coach by Harris, the podcast. Of course, I'm Harris, and today's episode is all about why being coachable is such an incredibly important characteristic in a person, how you can be more coachable, and what kind of benefits you can expect from doing so. First, I'll give you a little bit more context into who I am and what I do in case you're not familiar. So as I said, I am Harris. I run an online strength and habit coaching business called Coach by Harris, where I help everyday people get stronger physically, stronger mentally, and create structured, consistent lifestyles. Okay, so being coachable is a big part of what I do. It's a big part of why my clients succeed over the long term. Being coachable means, to me anyways, that you are somebody who understands the value of improvement, understands the value of coaching, understands the value of learning from people who have already been where you want to go. All right. I remember way back when I was in middle school and high school and even some into college. I struggled a lot with school. And I think, not to go down the rabbit hole, one of the big reasons was because I was not coachable, so to speak. I didn't ask for help. I didn't really want to accept help. I thought I knew everything about what I was doing clearly when the results weren't showing for themselves. Okay. And training in the fitness world is, I think, where I, really developed my coachable mindset, because I started to understand and see firsthand from watching YouTube videos and reading articles that there were people who were where I wanted to be, i.e., physically aesthetic, physically strong, mentally confident, and, successful in whatever way their lives were. That's where I wanted to be as a teenager. So I realized these people really had what I wanted to have. So I better respect that. I better learn from that. I better acknowledge that. And, I better basically do the things that are tried and true to get me to where I want to go. And that developed into, not day by day linear success. Of course, there was a lot of ups and downs. There was a lot of big drop offs, but over time, success in the sense that I used to be incredibly insecure. Now I, if I do say so myself, am a very confident guy. I used to be relatively physically weak. Now I am, relatively strong for my size. A lot of other things that have happened from that coachable mindset and willingness to act on what has worked. So for you, whatever success, whatever change, whatever level you want to get to, right, in your fitness, in your strength training, in your, hobbies, in your school, in your work, in your family, in your relationship life, whatever level you want to get to in a forward direction, you have to be coachable first. And you have to realize that there are people who have been already where you want to go. That's such an important thing, right? Because sometimes when we want to succeed, when we want to make change, we think we're the only ones who are struggling. We think we're the only people who are having a hard time, moving in this forward direction and getting to new heights and new permanent change, not just change for a day or a week or a month, but becoming a new type of person that we can sustain. But we're not the only ones. There are, depending on what kind of change you're looking to make, there are at least a handful, if not a massive amount of people who have been there and who have been further than there. Okay. So finding those people, whether it's a coach, whether it's a mentor, whether it's a hero, a friend, whomever that you can look up to, learn from, and implement their practices, you need to be coachable and be somebody that they can teach, whether it's directly or from their lessons, right? Here's a little bit of an aside, not to go on too far of a tangent, but being coachable doesn't mean that you're getting coached directly by this person in a live setting, right? Yes, that's a great way to do it. I coach clients one-on-one. It's very helpful for them. But that's not how everyone has to do it all the time, right? I certainly didn't have that for my first, 6 years of training, 5 to 6 years of training. I was coachable, but the people who I was learning from didn't know I existed. I learned from, strength coaches and psychologists and motivational, however you want to call them, people on the internet, basically, for years and years and years. They didn't know me, but I took notes of what they were saying. I took notes of what they were doing, right? What they were doing every day, not just what they were saying and what their ideas were, but what they were doing and what the people that they helped were doing to get results. I took note. I humbled myself when I could, and I did that stuff, and it worked. Big surprise. So again, whether you have a coach that's me or a coach that's somebody else or a hero you look up to that you're learning from, be coachable for them, okay? So I hope this has motivated you, inspired you. If you're not already as coachable as you can be, which we all can be more of, but if you feel like you're, resistant to getting help, resistant to implementing different ideas, this is for you. If you already feel like you're extremely coachable and you're having no issues, then this can be a refresher because look, I'm the one speaking on this issue, and I know I can be better at this in a lot of areas, right? I want to lead by example. I teach my clients to be coachable. I have these conversations with them on a very consistent basis in some way or another that relates to their situation. But I find myself, not always doing it as well as I could. Maybe there's other areas of my life that I want to improve, and sometimes I'm stubborn. A lot of times I'm stubborn. My family will tell you first and foremost, I am a quite stubborn person when I know or think I know what's best. And, I usually do know what's best for myself, but that doesn't mean I shouldn't be more coachable and willing to try different things or stick with different things. Okay. So I think that is plenty. And that's about it. Be coachable. It's really great. And to wrap up this episode, I want to let you know a couple of ways, free ways at the very least, that I can help you. All right. And this stuff is stuff you'll see from a lot of people. And I make no difference about that. I'm not saying that the way I can help you is completely revolutionized and completely fancy and this or that. No, but it's communication with each other to get you to where you want to go. A lot of people don't realize that the change they want is from simple practices and simple help. Okay, so what I'm going to offer you is simple help that's going to get you to actually make change if you take it seriously. One, an email newsletter, right? Lots of people have them, but if you apply them, they're useful. If you don't apply them, they don't mean anything. So why is my newsletter better or different? If you apply it, I think the lessons are going to be extremely helpful for you because they've worked for me, they've worked for my clients. If you don't apply them, then they may not help. But if you're ready for that, my email newsletter, you can sign up on my website, coachbyharris.com. If there are show notes around wherever you're listening to this, then you can go ahead and find that link. At the very least, if you're having trouble or if you can't find that, just send me an email, harris@coachedbyharris.com with a subject line that's relevant so I see it, and I can happily add you to my email newsletter. Basically, you'll get a little bit of a welcome sequence with some context into, again, who I am, what I do, how I do it, who I help. And you'll get my consistent emails, multiple emails a week that are full of lessons learned from my clients and from my teaching. So you'll be able to see the people who are paying me to help guide their life in a customized way. You'll see what they're learning. You'll see how they're improving, what they're failing with sometimes, and how we're resolving those issues. Extremely valuable stuff if you implement it, and that's completely free. Okay. So again, join that. Second is if you want help, if you want to actually make change, you should book a free coaching session with me, a one-time only complimentary session. If you've already done it, then, you've done it. But if you haven't done it, I would love for you to experience one. Again, this is going to be literally a session like I do with a paying client. You get one, and I want to make the most of it. So we can do different things. We can train. We can chat about where you're at. We can chat about what you're struggling with. We can discuss best next steps for you. And again, I am a very transparent business person and coach. At the end of the session or throughout the session, I absolutely will tell you about the coaching experience. I'll tell you about the prices. I'll tell you about how it works. I'm not pushing anybody to sign up with me because I only want people who are ready, right? Most of the clients, actually all the clients that I have, came to me and said, hey, I want to work with somebody. Let's do it. So I'm not going to be pushing hard, selling you to coach with me. No, but I will offer the experience so you can understand what that's like. If it's a great fit, awesome. We'll move forward with coaching. If not at this point, that's fine. You can stick on my newsletter and you can learn through that. But either way, you get a completely no strings attached coaching session. I think you'll find a lot of value. All right. Again, on my website, coachbyharris.com, you can read more about that and sign up. If you're having any issues, like I said, you can always email me or find me wherever you can, harris@coachbyharris.com. Let me know that you want to try the session and we will put it on the calendar and we'll get to it. All right. Thank you for listening today. I hope you found a lot of value out of this. Be coachable. It's worth it. I'll talk to you soon.